Welcome, investigators. You're looking at a newly declassified dossier. I'm your lead analyst, and together we are senior investigators working for the Fox Files project. Now, as a reminder, our mission here is not to prove or disprove extraordinary claims. Our mission is to analyze the evidence and to really understand human behavior. Today, we're opening case file CAMPO LARGO. It's an explainer dedicated to a highly publicized anomalous event in a rural Brazilian town. But more importantly, we're looking at the extreme visceral human reaction that it triggered. So let's open this file and see exactly what the data tells us.
Our dossier today is structured into 5 critical phases. We've got the incident report, analyzing the evidence, social media amplification, psychological fallout, and finally, the human subject. We're going to move chronologically, starting right from the initial physical sighting, straight through the digital explosion that followed, and we'll conclude with a deep psychological autopsy of the aftermath.
All right, phase 1, the incident report. Let's establish the exact sequence of events which all originate from a remote rural property in Campo Largo, Paraná, Brazil. Looking at this timeline, you really have to know just how rapidly this whole situation escalated. It starts on May 31st. Our subject, the 31-year-old nursing technician who cares for over 280 rescued animals, reports his animals are highly agitated. He finds a damaged electric fence, and he records some very unusual metallic sounds and lights in the night sky. By day 3, these recordings hit the internet and the situation goes completely viral. But the critical, truly terrifying escalation happens on day 8. The subject comes home to find that his animals, including a perfectly healthy rescue goat named Margarita, have been deliberately killed by unknown trespassers. And by day 9, pushed entirely to the brink, he destroys his security footage with gasoline and vanishes. I mean, in just over a week, we go from an isolated rural mystery to severe, real-world consequences.
Moving on to Section 2, analyzing the evidence. As investigators, our job is to carefully, clinically separate objective data from human perception.
So let's look at what is known versus what is being claimed. What do we actually know for a fact? Well, blurry, pixelated lights were definitely recorded over a tree line at night. We know for sure the subject's animals were highly distressed, and we definitively know from the Brazilian Air Force that absolutely 0 anomalous objects were detected on their radar. But what's being claimed? People are claiming that a massive extraterrestrial craft hovered there for 20 to 40 minutes, and that shadowy figures were making deliberate attempts to silence the witness.
When you put the conflicting evidence side by side, a much more grounded picture starts to emerge. On one hand, yes, we have genuine witness distress, a broken electric fence, and actual recordings of lights. But look at the contradictory evidence our analysts have pulled. Those lights, they perfectly match the proximity of an existing local inn and campsite called Chácara Paraíso. The strange metallic sounds? Acoustic analysis suggests they're actually consistent with the nearby bamboo groves snapping in the wind, mixed in with local wildlife. And as for the massive hovering object, flight records confirm the path of the USA-4 military satellite, that's NORAD 5226, was passing over that exact region. So environmental and man-made factors heavily contradict the anomalous narrative here.
Which brings us to Section 3, social media amplification. Having cataloged the physical data, we now have to investigate the digital catalyst. Because this is the exact moment where the human element completely overrides the physical facts. 2.4 million. Let that number sink in for a second. The primary subject saw his audience absolutely skyrocket from roughly 40,000 followers, people who just enjoyed watching his animal rescue videos, to over 2.4 million followers in a matter of days. This is a staggering, completely unnatural influx of human attention directed at one single unprepared person living out in isolation.
And this unprecedented amplification brought intense, suffocating scrutiny. And it wasn't just comments on a glowing screen. The digital world literally bled into his physical reality. Brands started pressuring him to monetize the event, piling on financial stress. Then came the physical intrusions, complete strangers flying drones over his property, weird vehicles with tinted windows just idling on his dirt road, and worst of all, the unauthorized filming and harassment of his elderly family members. The internet essentially decided that his life was now a public commodity.
Let's look at Section 4, psychological fallout. Because now we have to observe the devastating human cost of this sudden viral fame. When you strip away all the wild theories about what was in the sky, you're left with the harsh reality of what happened on the ground.
We have to fully empathize with this profound terror. Just read this quote. This is not a man orchestrating some elaborate internet hoax. This is a man in genuine visceral fear for his life. When he discovered his innocent rescue animals had been deliberately killed while he was away, that digital spectacle mutated into real-world trauma. Whatever that unknown variable in the sky was, it ended up inviting very real monsters right to his doorstep.
It is heartbreaking to watch this behavioral shift as the pressure mounts. Step 1, you see intense paranoia setting in, fueled by very real threats and strangers trespassing on his land. Step 2, in a desperate, frantic bid to just make it all stop, he takes gasoline and physically destroys the hard drive containing his security footage. He actually filmed himself doing it, crying out that he just wants the threats to end. And finally, step 3, a total psychological retreat. His agency issues a statement pulling him entirely off the internet just for his own mental survival. This investigation shows a man who is systematically pushed completely past his breaking point.
Finally, Section 5, the human subject. For our final phase, we need to shift our focus to the true core of this dossier. Like I said at the very beginning, the real subject of our investigation isn't the lights in the sky, it's the people looking up at them.
We have to understand the cognitive frameworks that really drove this entire event. First up, pattern recognition. The public desperately sought meaning in those blurry pixels and metallic sounds. In fact, many internet sleuths confidently matched the auditory data from the farm to the sound effects of a recent Steven Spielberg movie trailer. I mean, our brains are literally hardwired to find the familiar in the unknown. We all do it, but in this case, it meant connecting a bamboo stalk snapping in the wind to a Hollywood blockbuster.
Second, and honestly perhaps most dangerously, confirmation bias. Believers and skeptics alike exhibited extreme confirmation bias throughout this entire case. They interpreted the exact same data, whether it was the lights from the campsite, the damaged fences, or the tragically dead animals, to aggressively prove whatever they already wanted to believe. To some folks, the dead animals proved a massive government cover-up. To others, it proved the witness was just crazy. Almost nobody was looking at the actual data neutrally.
Ultimately, investigators, this is the question we really have to ask ourselves. How does a simple unknown variable in the night sky drive humanity to such extremes? A man saw something he couldn't explain, and in response, society subjected him to harassment, trespassing, and totally senseless animal cruelty. The uncertainty didn't elevate us. It completely fractured our fundamental social behavior. It made everyday people act like monsters toward a man who simply asked a question about the stars.
We close this file recognizing a vital truth. While the skies may hold their mysteries, the most complex, unpredictable, and downright dangerous anomalies reside within us. The lights over Campo Largo remain technically unidentified by the witness, but the human reaction? That is thoroughly documented. Case status, inconclusive. Primary subject, humanity. The investigation continues.